Hello guys, welcome to another interesting episode. This is Abakan Syntax, where we explore the use of AI in building systems. In my previous video, I gave it out that if you want to learn how to code with the use of AI, you should reach out. And then I got a lot of people reaching out. We have started learning coding and then using AI to our advantage. So if you also want to join the coding class, you can leave a comment or pick up my number in the description below and then get in touch. Today we are going to talk about a hospital management system. For that matter, a comprehensive and a fully packed hospital management system. This is the login screen, and as you can see ambulance, syringe, a drug, hospital building, stethoscope, and a lot of things falling from the top to the bottom. This is just a design to enhance the beauty of the login screen. So as you can see the login box, we have the hospital logo, and beneath it is the name of the hospital. That is, for this demonstration purposes, Abakan Hospital. Then we have select your role. With the role selection, we have the administrator, the doctor, lab technician, nurse, pharmacist, and accountant. So based on your role, you would have your permissions. There are certain things an administrator can do that the other users can do. So your restrictions is based on your role as a user in the system. So let's log into with the administrator. Okay, so this is the page for the admin. So on the left side you can see a lineup of menus for the admin. Like I said earlier on, every user has their limitations inside the system. So what the admin can do, the other users have limitations on what an administrator can do, and then any other staff too has their limitations. So on the left side you can see dashboard, department, patient, physician, nurses, pharmacist, lab technician, accountant, report, settings, wards/beds, shifts management, chat, add admin, and then the last one is logout. So what you are seeing is the dashboard for the administrator. Here you can see the total number of patients that has been recorded into the system, and beneath it you can see the total number of inpatients and then the total number of outpatients. So this gives you a breakdown of all the inpatients that we have in the system at the particular point, and then the inpatients as well. The next is the total available beds. So occupied is 0, so it means all the beds are available when any inpatient is admitted. And then the next one is active or active doctors. The next is nurses, pharmacists, lab technicians, and accountants. When it comes to the quick action section, the quick action section gives you a faster route of going to the add patient page or add doctor, view patient, view reports, view settings, and beneath it is the shift calendar schedule. The shift calendar schedule, every staff have this shift calendar schedule on their page. With this, it gives information to all staff if there is a pending shift or leave a staff has. And then when it comes to the income and expenses section, this gives you the total income generated for the whole year, and then the total expenses for the whole year. When you select from the select year drop down, let's pick 2024. There is no income and expenses for the year 2024, so nothing is going to show here. So the only year that has the total income and total expenses is 2025. So when you select the 2025 year, you can see the total income and then the total expenses if you have for that selected year. So like I said, this is a fully packed system. So this is where we add departments. Where you add department, you can edit department, you can delete department. This is where we add patients, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lab technicians, report settings, everything. And then this system has a chat option where any staff can chat any staff can chat any staff in the system. So it's basically like the use of our normal WhatsApp. So when I send you a message, you get a notification that someone has sent you a message, and you go and then respond to the message. So we have that feature also in here. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to add a patient, but then this is an admin, so we are going to log out and then log in as a nurse. Basically, when you go to a hospital, nurses are those that register a patient inside the system. So let's log in as a nurse. Okay, so now we are logging as a nurse. This is the dashboard for a nurse. So we will go to like I said, every staff has their permissions. This is the permission on the left side of the dashboard for a nurse. So we will go to patient, and then let's first go to view patients. So when we go to view patients, we have all the patient records in the system, where we have patient ID, patient name, contact number, gender, age, blood type, patient type, whether the patient is inpatient or outpatient, whether the patient has been discharged or is still inpatient. And then when the patient is discharged, automatically their bed becomes unavailable, so it means their bed is now empty. So we can assign the bed to any other inpatient that has been admitted in the hospital. And then if the patient was referred, and a doctor that was assigned to the patient is also here, and the date of the patient, the date that the patient was admitted to the hospital. You can also view the patient's details. Okay, so now let's add a new patient. So on this form, this is where we add a new patient. But then let's assume there is a patient who has already been to the hospital before. It means the patient already has an existing ID in the system. So you don't just go straight and then add the patient again. When you do so, it's going to generate a new ID for the patient, where the patient would have the same name but two sets of different IDs in the system. And then we don't want to waste IDs in the system. So if the patient has already been to the hospital, this is what we're going to do. All that we need is the patient's ID. Then you come to this section, old patients. So you click on old patients. When you click on old patients, there will be this box for you to type in the patient's ID. So after typing in the patient's ID, when you click on retrieve, it's going to populate patient name, contact, gender, in fact everything here, because the patient is already in the system. So let's click on retrieve. Voila, like I said, we have patient name, patient contacts, gender, date of birth, blood type, emergency contacts, and then you can select the patient type, that is inpatient or outpatient, and then we assign a doctor to the patient. So since we are going to add a new patient, let's refresh the page and then add a new patient. So the name of the patient is Madam Edu. So we add Madam Edu's contacts, and then we select the gender, we select the date of birth of Madam Edu. Then we select the blood type, and then we type in the emergency contacts number, which is very, very important. And then we select the patient type. So when we select inpatient, it means Madam Edu would be admitted to the hospital. It means the patient is going to stay at the hospital. Okay, so immediately we select inpatient, there will be a box for us to select the ward the patient will be sleeping, and then the bed the patient will be sleeping on. So we click on general, and then we select a bed for the patient. Okay, so this is patient a referrer? If we click on yes, it's going to give you a form to fill. That is referred hospital name, the hospital the patient is coming from, the location of the hospital, referred doctor, the doctor who referred the patient to our clinic or hospital, the doctor's contact, and if there is any relevant information that was given by the referred hospital or doctor, we put the information here so that any doctor that we assign this patient to would know the medical record or history of this particular patient. So in this case, the patient is not a referrer, so you click on no, and then you assign a doctor to the patient. So Dr. Nana Asase Safo, you select the doctor to the patient. Then we come to the vitals. This is where the vitals of the patient is being checked by the nurse who is registering the or ushering the patient into the system. So let's assume BP is 180/90. and pause. Okay, so this is enough. So let's register the patient. So as you can see, a patient added successfully, patient ID. So this is the patient ID. So now let's alert Dr. Asase Safo that a patient has been assigned to him. So Dr. Asase Safo. So hello doctor. Hello doc. A patient has been assigned to you with ID. So now we have sent a message to Dr. Asase. So let's log out and then sign in as the doctor. Okay, so now let's sign in as a doctor. Okay, so let's give me a minute. Let me sign in as Dr. Asase. Okay, so now we are signing as Dr. Asase. So this is the dashboard of a doctor. So the doctor too has a chat. So now this is the message the nurse Amayeboa sent to the doctor. So now the doctor can pick the ID of the patient from here. So let's pick it this way. Okay, so let me see if we have the ID. Okay, so we have the ID. So when the doctor comes here, this is what I was talking about. If the doctor is having a shift, this is where it's going to show. This is the profile of the doctor. And then when it comes to quick actions, when the doctor types in the patient ID, let me pick the patient ID wall. Know why. Okay, so let me okay, so we have the patient's ID. So when we click on search patient, the patient details will appear here: patient ID, patient name, Madam Edu, contact number, age. So now this is where the doctor, based on the discussions with the patient, if the doctor gets to know the symptoms, maybe let's say headache. So maybe the Madame Edu was diagnosed with malaria. If there are any other notes, the doctor can keep them here. And then when the doctor clicks on add medications, all the drugs inside the pharmacy management system, which has been embedded inside the hospital management system, would all appear here. So when you get to the pharmacist, you see what I'm talking about. So emulate. Let's assume the doctor is prescribing emulate for the patient. So maybe 10 days, 3 times after meal. Let's assign another one, Kusama, and also 10 and 10 days. Same thing. So with the moment the doctor click on save consultation, you would see that a patient medical history has been created, where whenever the patient visits the hospital again, and even if the patient is assigned to a different doctor, the different doctor can see the patient medical history the last time the patient visited the hospital. So it's always going to be here. The next time the patient comes to the hospital, and after consultation, the doctor click on save consultation, is going to create another patient medical record. Is not going to overwrite this. So the number of times the patient has visited the hospital will determine the number of patient medical records or history the patient is going to have here. And then if the doctor requests a lab to be done, and after everything, here is where the lab is going to show. Okay, so now the doctor has prescribed certain medications to the patient. So let's go to the pharmacy and then buy those prescriptions. So we are going to log out and then log in as a pharmacist. Okay, so pharmacist. Okay, so now we are logging as the pharmacist. So this is the dashboard of the pharmacist, as you can see here, pharmacist. So now we go to the pharmacy. That is, we are going to sell the drug to the patient. So this is a pharmacy management system, like I was saying before, that has been embedded inside the hospital management system. So this is a huge system. This is where you can create a category, add stock, add expenses, add sales, get patient prescription and sales report, expenses report. So with this, the doctor has prescribed certain drugs for the patient. So we are going to use get patient prescriptions. So it will request for patient ID. So you type in the patient ID and then click on get descriptions. So all the prescription that was made by the doctor will automatically load into the add sales pop-up. So after that, this is the total sale. This 175 cedis. We can add taxes, mode of payment, whether cash or Momo, and then you see the name of the patient here and then their telephone number. So the moment we click on record sales, it will generate a printout where we can print and then give it to the patient. So here you can see monthly gross sales, the total sales that you're going to make at the end of the month, and then monthly expenses. If there's any other expenses, here is where you're going to see that. And then monthly net sales. When we take away the expenses from the gross sales, the monthly net sales, that is what we are going to see. So let's assume add sales, add expenses. So we are going to add expenses. Let's see the total sales that we've done for the month. That is 225 cedis. So we are going to add sales. We are going to add expenses. So expense category, let's say utilities. So light, you are going to buy light. So amount is maybe 200 Ghana. So add expenses. So the moment we add expenses, the expenses will be taken away from this, and then we will get, initially it was 525 as the same as the monthly gross. So the moment we take away the month 200, we are left with monthly net sales, that is 225 cedis. That is the net sales. And this shows the sales analytics for every month in the year. And the payment mode, that is either cash or Momo, that is when making sales. And then recent transactions, that is the first three transactions that has been made. And then low stock gives you the stock, that's the item that has lower stock, so that you can refill the stock. So this is how the pharmacy dashboard or the pharmacy management system that has been fused into the system looks like. So now let's move on to accountant, because we have an inpatient in the system where we are going to discharge the patient. So let's log out and then log in as an accountant. Okay, accountant. Okay, so this is the dashboard for the accountant. So with the accountant sees the income and then the expenses. Yeah. So with the accountant, we'll go to accountant, and then this is, like I said earlier on, if there's any pending shifts or leave, this is where you're going to see, and then the profile, and then quick action. So with a quick action, let's first come to discharge patient, because we have one patient that we are going to discharge. So this is all the patients that has been discharged already. So you see discharge ID patient ID, patient name, contact, discharge date, amount to be paid, payment status paid. Okay, so it gives you the total number of patients that has been discharged. Total number of patients that has been discharged. So, like I said from the beginning, when it comes to the total number, you see that the total number initially was 10, and then the inpatient was 0. Now we have 1 inpatient, and then the outpatient was 6. So now we have 1 inpatient. Okay, guys, so since we have 1 inpatient at the moment, let's proceed and discharge the patient, the inpatient. So we come to accountant, and then we head to the quick actions, and then we go to discharge patients. So we then proceed to inpatients. So we have 1 inpatient here whose name is Madam Edu. That is the patient that we created from the beginning of this session. So we can see Madam Edu has 1 day spent, and then if we are to discharge Madam Edu, what we are going to do is we are going to click on this discharge button, which will redirect us to the payment page. So it's going to ask you, and we are going to click on yes, proceed to payment. So it's redirecting us. So this is what it does. When it redirects an inpatient to the payment processing center, it automatically fills the patient ID, patient name, patient type, ward/bed, the day admitted, number of days spent, and when you come to the calculation section, it tells you that Madam Edu spent 1 day, and then we are charging her 50 cedis for 1 day. So what we need to do is we just come to the payment method, we select our payment method, whether cash or Momo, then we proceed to click on process inpatient payment and discharge. So after doing that, we will be given a receipt to be signed by the one who issued the receipt, and then issue it to the patient. So now let's go back to dashboard and see. Initially we had 1 inpatient, and now we have discharged the inpatient. So we now don't have any inpatient at the moment. So you can see here, inpatient 0, outpatient 6. So this is how the payment processes are being done in the accountant dashboard. So now before we sign out, let's move to the payroll management page. So with the payroll management page, we click on this dash, and then this is the payroll management page, where when you click on synchronize staff from all departments, it will synchronize all the staffs from the database here. So assuming we have added a new staff, when the accountant comes to this page, all that the accountant needs to do is to click on the synchronize staff from all database, and then the new staff that has been added inside the database would appear here. So with this, you can click on any staff, and then edit their details, that is their staff ID, basic salary, whether they are active or inactive, whether they have been suspended, their bank, the name of their bank, the account number, their TIN number, their Ghana card number, SNIT number, and then the employment date. So in all these, every month the accountant will generate their payroll records, where this is October payment. You can see the status here, it has been paid. You can download your pay slip. This is how the pay slip looks like. So you see the employee information, Kwabena Owusu, staff ID, department, pharmacist, payment details. See the payment details here, paid. So you can you see the deductions, the tax, SNIT, and everything. So you can just click and then you print your employee slip. So the system is fully packed where you can do everything in the system. So guys, you leave a comment, you share, and then you subscribe to this channel for more contents like this.